So I want to talk about a few matters, inshallah ta'ala, in particular that relate to the scholars of the past. One thing that we notice is that many of them have a very deep connection with Al-Quran and Kareem. So we see that in the life of Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, that he memorized the entire Quran at the age of 7. And there were many other scholars of his caliber, or maybe even of a lesser caliber, who performed this as well. And this illustrates to us the importance that the early Muslims had on teaching the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and preserving the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially within the youth, making sure that they knew the Quran and Kareem. And they not only memorized the Quran, but they were people who understood the Quran. And they were able to act upon what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded them to do. And they were able to abstain from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded them to abstain from. So, for instance, we look at the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who were definitely within this generational period that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was talking about. And it was their habit that they would take very few ayat of the Quran, very few. They would memorize them, understand them, and then implement them into their life. They would not move on until they did that. So this is something that we should really look at and ponder over, because these people, they took what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said seriously. They took what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said seriously, and they wanted to act upon that. And we have to look at, our situation nowadays, and in our own personal lives, how much of the way of those people are we taking in? How much of their way are we implementing? How much of the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam are we implementing? How much of the Quran do we understand versus how much we have memorized? These are very important questions, that we should ask ourselves.